What a game I've got for you here. It's Magnanimous Carlsbad playing with black. His opponent, the one and only Arjun Erigaisi, storming up the rankings right now. This is an anticipated clash. It's Tata Steel India, Blitz chess, Arjun opening with the white pieces, d4, final day. Winner of this game wins the entire event. What a whopper it is. Magnus brings the knight out, Arjun explodes the board, e6, knight to c3 and d5 for the high five. We're rattling through the moves as Magnus now faces this Carlsbad pawn structure. Bishop g5 played with a whoosh, pawn to c ships, and this starts to initiate the structure. Now you can go queen c2 straight away, but e3 is played. It allows Magnus to go bishop f5, not forced, but this is some cutting edge opening theory. You can go queen f3, pressure here and here. This is a game that Magnus once won against Kramnik, current world champion, in this very line. Beautiful one, but Arjun puts a spin on it with knight g to e2. Watch how it maneuvers. Bishop d6, knight g3. Arjun loves playing with his ponies. That's why he carries an oversized one with him most places he goes, to visualize this kind of thing. So the bishop drops back. Now queen f3. What's the idea?
Mushrooms.
Knight bd7 played, and here we see it. The stallion charging forward, hitting some sensitive points there, so the bishop captures. Queen takes back. Arjun has picked up those bishops. Lovely jubbly, but h6, Magnus now fighting back because this one retreats. Then he kicks the queen even, going happy trigger with those pawns. Now queen c2 played, and after queen e7, bishop d3. Love this. The game kicks off already because g5 is played. Gary the debt collector storming down the board. This bishop retreating faster than my hairline, and Magnus gets to chop it off. Take off one of those bishops. You've no longer got the pair. What's the game going on now? Well, Arjun's going to try and conquer this square. Magnus, he's gonna castle queenside and go for the kill. Andrea starts spinning the beats. This is what we came to see. Even a couple of fans rip off their shirts and tense for the audience. They're so thrilled and excited. So now we see rook b1 in response. The minority attack being prepared. Always play king b8. Keep Hans Feingold happy. And b4, Magnus can do anything. Arjun pushes that juicer. What does Magnus do? Fights fire with fire, h5. Very thematic. Don't play in the part of the board where your enemy is. Play on the other side, the centre, the other flank. Go for the counterplay. And now a4, looking natural as Sage and Onion, or b5. But Arjun goes knight a4. A little bit different, a little bit slower. Is he really a grandmother? Now we see rook c8, eyeballing the queen there, never comfortable. Arjun creates a seahorse, and now rook c7 just does a little bit of defensive manoeuvring. a4 from Arjun. Magnus meeting fire with fire once more. Plays h4, real big attacks brewing on both sides, although you can't yet actually take because this rook is attacking the one here. And by the way, if white tries b5, well, you have to be a bit careful now because after takes there could be problems here. So what do we see? a5 is played, going for a bit of a clamp. Now queen f8, given the question mark, but this is blitz chess, right? We're sticking with the moves. Supports the rook, prepares to take the pawn on g3. So Arjun beats Magnus to the punch. He takes back with the rook. Rook takes, pawn takes, and this is actually a nice structure change for black. You know, these ones are weak, and there's one heck of a maneuver coming, possibly. a6 played, b6 in response. Now we get a pair of knights leaving the board here, and this is the moment where the stock nest monster finds this awesome maneuvering because this bishop's actually quite nicely placed, spraying out in both directions, but you can bring the queen around via either of these squares and into f3, and just picture that because then you're pressuring here. You can come to f4, pressure here, x-ray down here, then you can go king e2, bring the rook, that kind of thing. It's a real nasty bind that black is in, but missed. It's blitz chess. and bishop f5 is played here, and now knight f6 comes, f3, and in the space of 2 moves, Magnus is suddenly coming right back into this game here, because now he can go queen g7, pressuring down here. Arjun goes bishop h3 to cover the bases, and Magnus now finds these stunning maneuvers, queen g5, and the knight's also on the way, and he's the one now invading some weakened squares, as we're gonna see. Now Arjun decides it's the moment, puffs back his chest, says, do you even rook lift, bro? Magnus goes on this pony maneuver, absolute tour de horse, and after queen f5, Arjun bailing out a bit with the queen trade, few Magnus fans bleating away. We now see this, and you surely go knight d6. I'd be blitzing that in seconds. Looks such a nice idea, but no. Magnus, in true style, goes rook e7, just mixing up the game, because he's now cleared a square on c7. After king f2, the kind of diagonal bomb cloud, well, he lands this knight here, and he's going after the weakened pawn, just switching up the plan. So hard to deal with this on low time. Now we see the bishop covering, but after b5, the pawn's going to die, unless you go rook a3. It is actually the best move. Looks very passive to go and babysit, but it's important you cover. However, rook c3 played, and it's given the question marks of doom, because after takes here, looks like you can take here, but you really can't. You actually have to go rook b3, meekly cover the pawn, and you're just down material. But Arjun, of course, takes off this pawn, low on time, going for the play. Magnus crashes through here, and he's gone to Forktown. Population Arjun, but here's the best part. After rook c3, you don't yet take, which is a good move. You've got 2 runners here, but this is even stronger. Rook c7, what a move from Magnus Carlsen, because if you capture that rook, then you flick in this Zwischenzug, which you'd obviously whisper away if you were over the board. King can come to e2, but then you can do something like this. Check, sure this is recaptured, but king takes, and look at the horrendousness of this endgame. Not sure if that's a word, but these are running, of course. The king can come in and support them, or maybe bring the king like that, whatever. White's pawns are a mess, it's hopeless. So we didn't see the rook taken. Instead this was played, hitting it, but now Magnus takes with check. Rook recaptures, b4, e4, but simply ignored. Check, king g1, a5, and Arjun resigns the game, because if you try and do something like takes, let's say, well then these pawns are just running way too fast. I mean, you can see them coming, how do you stop them? And if you tried this to prevent a4, then you take with check, well you've just vacated the d file. Black can simply come and munch, you know, here's a sample line, let's say, and the pawns just run, nothing that white can do. Black is way too fast. Here's a sample of how you could die. So this is the final position. Magnus getting the job done in the Blitz as well as the Rapid. Absolutely goated over the whole tournament here. What a day, what a weekend he's had. Hope you enjoyed this one. Smash subscribe if you did, and check out the video on screen for another epic game of chess. Cheers.